in those January camps that are going to take place in New Zealand. And that is going to be the first nation that the United States women's national team play a pair of friendlies against in their preparations for the World Cup. So we thought, listen, there's a limited amount of international windows that are left for this United States women's national team to go ahead and get some of these last minute fixtures in to sort of help them in their march back to Australia and New Zealand. So we thought what it could be a little bit fun to maybe pick 8 nations that we would like to see the United States women's national team play against. So we know that automatically New Zealand is going to be one of those programs. They're going to New Zealand for a January camp that's going to include 2 friendlies. But that means there's going to still be windows from February to even all the way into July that the United States can participate and hold friendlies. Vlatko Andonovski in a previous pre-game press conference, I believe it was either ahead of the European friendlies or these Germany friendlies, said, hey, that they are trying to target at least 9 matches leading up to Australia and New Zealand in 2023. And we know, like I said, we know 2 of those matches are going to be New Zealand. But if they're going to possibly play up to 9 games leading up to the World Cup, we know that She Believes Cup will also be a handful of those games. So who are the teams that we would like to see this United States national team go up against? We threw together a fun little list. We're curious if you all will agree, but these are the teams that Lisa and I would like to see the United States go up against if possible. We'd like to see a women's version of Wales versus United States. We got World Cup on the brain. We just saw the United States and Wales go head to head in the men's World Cup. We said, hey, what if we saw United States and Wales on the women's side of things? We'd also like to see Australia because we know that those games end up in wild score lines. We'd like to see them go up against teams like Japan and Brazil. We'd also like to see them play Mexico again. We thought that they had a very good CONCACAF W championship group game against Mexico. We'd like to see that one more time. And we'd also like to see Nigeria face United States one more time. I thought that those were some narrow score lines that they had against Nigeria that maybe we could see a little bit different if they go up against a Nigeria side that doesn't have an injury bug. Because when they went up against Nigeria during their September window, I believe it was, they had a Nigerian side that had to nurse a ton of injuries. There were some big names that were missing from that squad, and this is still a team that broke through on goal against the United States. And we'd also like to see, to close things out, we'd like to see Austria, go head to head against United States. It's the holidays. We thought, why not put together a little bit of a wish list?
I love a good wish list. I mean, I think New Zealand, to start things off for the United States, we already know they're going to play them in January, heading to New Zealand for the very first time ever, right? Like that is the first time the United States will be in New Zealand for competition. And they're playing those matches at the 2 stadiums that the World Cup group stage will be played at for the United States. So that's like something that is off to a great start. We gave a shout to Australia in this list as well. Although the United States just played them last November in Australia, that was the first time that the US had been to Australia in like 21 years or something. You're also going back there for the World Cup. The United States ended up winning one of those matches 3-0. The other one was a 1-1 draw against Australia. So I think that competition would be good to see again. When we were making these lists, we're both kind of like putting out names there, and the other one would agree, or we'd be like, no, let's pick a different one. I think Japan was one that off the bat, I was like, I want to play against a Japanese side because the style of football is just that much different. And that's what the United States is going to face in the World Cup. They're going to face competition that is unlike anything they've seen in CONCACAF, unlike anything they see in the friendlies that they traditionally play, whether it's against Colombia or even Nigeria. So I want to see them go against a Japanese side in preparation for the World Cup, because there's something so silky smooth about how the Japanese play. And right now, how the United States is playing, which is pretty rushed, pretty transitional, pretty quick. I want to see how they can combat that against a Japanese style of play. I know you gave Mexico a shout, Sandra. I agree with that one. I thought, hey, they're not in the World Cup, but this is just a competitive team. This is just a competitive match that I like. I'm going to give a shout out to some people in our chat. They're shouting Sweden, and I'm going to defend myself as to why I didn't put Sweden on this list, because Sweden is a team that gets in the United States head. And for the first time, they are not in our group heading into the World Cup. So we don't even have to worry about facing them until much later in the World Cup. Once they're a little bit more tired, once they've faced some other teams, once they've had some goal scores against them, I think that we let that sit. We just wait to play Sweden. I mean, yes.
You want a full break. You want a clean break from Sweden.
Honestly, at this point, I think the United States needs to get their confidence up as well.
All right.
Right. They do. They've got to score a lot of goals. They've got to get into this mojo. They've got to get a little bit of an understanding of exactly how they're going to play, how they're going to be that team, how they're going to connect their passes and get goals. So, yeah, I mean, if they play Sweden, don't worry, I'll be here previewing, recapping it. So excited about it. But I did not put it on my wish list because I don't need that right now. I don't need that stress right now. We'll wait till next year if we get it.
All right, I'm with you. I hear you on that. Make sure you let us know who's on your wish list. Who would you like to see the United States women's national team get a game in against during their build-up to the World Cup? That's all we've got for you today. Thank you so much for listening to Attacking Third.